So as I was saying, the suits represent different things. So the cups represent like relationships and love and those types of connections. The pentacles is more representative about like money and abundance and things like that. The wands are more about like creation, manifestation, and then the swords are often the cards that are conflicts or obstacles we've had to overcome. So I'm going to go through each card and just give my general reading. This is something I've been practicing on my own, and also by watching like other people's videos just to learn a little bit more about reading the tarot without the book. So yeah, so we'll start. So usually when a card is in reverse, it just means it's the opposite message. And sometimes it can be a positive thing because it's almost like you've overcome something. So the Knave of Cups is like the messenger. So something in the past wasn't communicated about relationships, like something that was going on where people weren't communicating with each other about what the actual gravity of things were going on. And the knave is usually like very open and ready to share. And when it's in reverse, it just means that that might have been blocked off. So maybe people were keeping more to themselves, or, you know, could be that. So that's the distant past. The near past, or the most recent past, is the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles, again, is like a messenger. He's on a journey of creating, abundance for himself. So just looking at the universe, like things were aplenty. We were sharing many things, even though maybe it wasn't communicated on an emotional level. It was through like financial. So it could just be like a good omen that there was money coming in, and, or it could simply be like spending time, appreciating the things that you have, being grateful for, the abundance around us. Present, we have the Two of Pentacles. So the two is often like it's about diplomacy, it's about balance. And right now it's almost like balancing the things we have and the things that we might want. It's almost like this yin yang, especially what's going on right now in the universe. Like, are we being balanced in our, abundance? Are we overspending? Are we overthinking? Are we being calm? I think just given what's going on right now, that's kind of in question right now. Like, is it fear? Is it love? Like, what is it? And I mean, especially looking at this, I feel like the message to get more things was something that was happening. So because of that, now it's almost like trying to connect back to the balance of things, even though there's so much financial worries and things going on. There could be potential for good to come out of this. And it's almost like looking at yourself and what you're grateful for. It's tuning into yourself, but also connecting with others. In the near future, we have the Three of Wands. So like I was saying before, wands are all about creating and manifestation. So the three is often about creativity. So this just could, because it's in reverse, it just could mean that people are more like going inward with their own goals. May not necessarily be about creating things that are new, maybe like continuing on things that you've already done. For me, what's resonating is almost like staying in a stillness. Can you connect back to your creativity? and be present to that. Because it does look like there's like two people that are reflecting. And what's like in synchronicity between these two cards is that both of them are looking down, reflecting, you know, staying present to what's going on, but also being open to your own creativity. And the fact that there's like purple and orange, purple's about the third eye in the chakras. So it's almost like connecting back to your intuition, your higher self, the connection to this physical plane and what's beyond. Could be something spiritual for you. The orange is all about the sacral, which is about self-confidence and connecting back to your self-worth. So yeah, what I'm getting from this card is a lot of like introspection right now. The Eight of Wands is basically the near future. So if you can see in this card, there's a young fairy that is riding the dragon. It's almost like he's defeating the dragon. There's all these wands around him. 8 represents strength. So, you know, you have the power to create what you need to and to overcome this obstacle. And, you know, even though it feels like quite treacherous, there is inner strength that's being built through this time because you're having the time to reflect, maybe looking at yourself and maybe how you are coming, like how you're being present with other people. And it's kind of hopeful for me, even though it looks like kind of an intense card. Dragons are a mystery, you know. Is it myth? Is it real? So the fact that he's always overcoming these obstacles that we might not know about. So it's like this mystery of life right now that we don't really know what's going on to the extent of we have all the answers, but just know that you have inner strength to overcome. And I think like because presently there's so much balance going on, there is that shift in mental health. Like it can cause anxiety, it can cause people to not be sure about things, but just trust that the universe is doing this for a reason, for us to find the strength and to connect back to ourselves and create connection, even though it's with stillness. The near future, the future is the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords, swords, like I was saying before, is all about overcoming obstacles like conflicts. And if you can see this fairy, she almost has like a ton of spikes inside her. And tens usually represent the end of something. So through all of this journey, even though it can be painful and maybe like unbearable, because you can see like it's almost like she's tortured, it's coming to an end now. Because there's so much plentiful flowers around her, that just shows that there's hope. I mean, blue is all about the throat chakra too, so it's like connecting back to communication. So this is not necessarily a bad card. In the original tarot, it's a man that's lying down and there's a bunch of swords in his back, which looks so grave. But in essence, it's almost like you've now moved forward. There's something that's ended that is causing you chaos or grief or whatever conflict that you're facing, and now it's coming to an end. So that could be just like your mindset about this. It could be, you know, maybe there's actually hope that's going to happen out of this. I mean, I'm really hopeful. But a lot of times people think the swords are not, I know at least myself, I used to like cringe when I would get swords, but it just means that you had the strength and now to face it. So to me, it shows that you've grown. Okay. Now, this oracle deck is all based on earth magic. So the cards have a lot of beautiful pictures of nature. And I was looking on the news recently and saw that, the world itself is healing. If you see, like, it's so sad what's happening in other countries and people passing away, of course. And that is something to recognize as well. That is very sad. But there is hope. And I've heard that, animals are coming out of nature, resurfacing, the pollution's down. And it's almost like we're healing Mother Nature right now. So in this picture, you could see like a plentiful of animals and colors, and it's just replenishing the earth. So although there's this, struggle right now with uncertainties, we have the strength and we're helping the earth in that way. So very inspiring card. Crystals, I know, like, is definitely known for their metaphysical abilities. And I actually live in British Columbia and I moved here. And the fact that there's mountains in this and it's purple, it's almost like connecting to the divine. Meditating, praying, whatever your faith is, coming back to your focus on what you believe. Crystals have this energy about them that heal. And amethyst is known for healing, like, addictions or, karmic patterns. So it could be literal, like, get a crystal that might help you, maybe like take a bath with a crystal, or it could just be simply like connecting back to the earth with grounding, taking the time to focus on your goals again, with the Three of Wands, like coming back to you. And that there's a glimmer of light no matter the dire of the circumstances. There's still the earth, things are still moving, there's a flow of energy. And connecting back to your self-love is something that I'm getting from this card. Now, I can't say I know a lot about this person, but just looking at the symbology of the card, there's a lot of mystical creatures in here. So I see doves. Could be a dove, I don't know. It looks like a dove. And doves are all about peace and calmness. Swans are about like purity and beauty, and I think it's Angus. He looks very divine, very calm, very like optimistic. There's a rainbow in the background that represents blessings. So I think it's almost saying like, even though there's all these things going on that we can't fully explain, it has a divine purpose. And that is teaching humanity to connect back to these things, nurturing self-love, taking time to connect to your mirror self, which is, if you don't know about twin flames is essentially a soul contract that two souls make. And they end up going through a lot of similar experiences. Like they might have the similar karmic patterns, as in, like, for an example, like usually when you meet someone that you can see yourself in them and you have similar trauma or similar, background stories or similar challenges or triggers, the twin flame is meant to be your mirror. So they're there to almost like give you this seeing eye onto yourself. And it can become really real. Like usually people that are twin flames, they don't want to always end up staying together. They can, but it does pose its challenges because you have so much in common in terms of like soul challenges that you do trigger each other. But that in itself is a good thing because it can make you face, you know, the obstacles. And are you ready to overcome them? Or are you ready to stay in this codependent type of relationship that's not going nowhere? So to connect it back to a general way, I would say that the twin flame energy is all about connecting back to you. So having faith in the universe, nurturing yourself, being grateful for what we have in nature, connecting to something bigger than us, whether that's a God or the universe or, you know, whatever brings you closer to that divinity, is saying, you know, connect back to that. So I hope this reading has given some insight as to, you know, what's going on. And, you know, although this is like a horrible pandemic that's going on right now, there is something to be learned from it. And so rather to focus on, you know, the negative, where we will like look at the stats, which I think is important. Like it's good to be aware. But try not to get so consumed with it because it is out of our control. It isn't something we can really prevent. I mean, you can try, but I just always say, like, if it's the time for you, then it is. So just continue to get in touch with yourself is the message of this reading. Okay, well, thank you so much, and I wish you all a great day.